Hello. Hello. I'm just waiting for Kate to come on, and we're going to talk about why we hate self-care. We're going to wait for Kate to get in here, though. Yeah, and in the meantime, if you're joining, hey, so glad you're here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. One thing that does work for you and you feel taken care of by yourself, and one self-care thing that you say, fuck it, it doesn't work, it's bullshit. And then we'll get started once Kate gets in here. In the meantime, yeah, what's one self-care thing that works for you and one that you think is bullshit? Yeah, for sure. I also need plenty of sleep. Like 7 to 9 is ideal. Oh, hi, Hannah. Oh, this is the way I can do this. Oh, like Hannah Jones, Hannah? Let's see. Hey, Lexi. We're gonna get started in just a second once Kate gets in here. Durin, elaborate skincare. BS. I like that. I am on the fence about skincare things. I think that we'll talk more, but there are some skincare things that I like and some that I think don't. Hey, Kate, I got you. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Kate. Hey, Juliana. I've just got everybody as they're coming in. Hey, wave. Love that you're here. And share in the comments one self-care thing that works for you and one self-care thing that you think is bullshit. That's what everybody's doing. We need 8 hours of sleep for sure. Meditation works, but elaborate skincare is BS. What else do we have? We'll just give everybody maybe like a couple more seconds before we really get into it. Jacqueline's here cleaning the studio.
Okay. Oh, cute.
I got worried. I was like, is Kate coming or no?
Sorry, I was busy texting. I don't know. Oh, yes. You know, Huli, I think it's new for me. We'll talk about baths today, for sure.
Doing a face mask.
And bath.
Yeah, I was telling, Durin said fancy elaborate skincare feels like BS, and I'm like, I'm on the fence about skincare. I think you just have to find what works for you, because it is important to take care of your skin, to me, I think.
Yeah, I want to know, why are you doing it? Why are we spending all this fucking time smooshing our faces with all this goop?
Oh my gosh, Sarah, that's funny. Baths stress me out.
I didn't know how to relax in them. Like, I didn't know what to do, and then I was like, oh, I can just sit here.
Okay, well, let's talk about it, Kate.
Okay.
Let's admit it. Self-care. Everyone hates self-care. That's what it is, right? Let's admit it. Everyone hates self-care.
I mean, yeah, for me, like, I'm so burned out of this conversation about self-care. I'm tired of people telling me I have to do it. I'm tired of me not doing good enough job at it. I am failing at self-care. I have always failed at self-care, and the first people to tell me about how much of a failure I am are the people on the internet who are talking about self-care.
Yeah, wow, for sure. I think like Kate, we've talked a lot about lately, like just like internet culture and like the shame that exists that isn't called shaming, but it is shaming. And it's like if you post all of these like we'll talk a bit more about like performative self-care, but if you're posting these like beautifully aesthetic like self-care experiences and then telling me that's what I should be doing, all of a sudden I feel shame about that because my self-care is like not glamorous. Like I fucking folded my laundry today and I was like, wow, I'm really taking care of myself.
Ruby, I know. If you saw in my stories last week, I had a load of laundry on my bed for like weeks that I was just like moving piles from piles and piles. Well, today, today what I did for self-care was get the laundry that's been sitting in the dryer for a week now. I got it, I fluffed it, I folded it, and I put it away. And my laundry basket is empty. And that really like I am really feeling some kind of way about that. It's like a thing that I needed to do that I didn't want to do it, but I just did it. And sometimes those are there's nothing pretty about the way that my folded clothes look, but they're in the drawer. And it seems like the dumbest thing, but it's like, what are some things that you need to get done that would support you being able to take a big deep breath? Literally just take fucking 5 seconds to do it. Okay, 10 minutes, do it, and then just be done with it. And then it doesn't like linger. It doesn't. But yeah, the internet culture of self-care telling me that I need to be taking like luxurious 4-hour long baths. I'm tired of that.
And that, yeah, you got to have the crystals and the bubble bath and all the things. And when really, like, for me, a bath for sure is like, feels like self-care. I don't have a bathtub right now, and that feels like something that's missing. So I just have to get that from showers. But it's like, even that, it's like not a glamorous experience. Actually, in fact, if there are moments where I'm like, oh, this is kind of like Instagrammable, like that, like crosses my mind, I'm like, am I getting anything out of it? And the answer is no.
No. I'm only trying to show it to somebody else, and what I'm gonna get out of that is some sort of validation from somebody else. So what I'm really looking for is words of affirmation from people who love me. So how can, in an authentic, non-performative kind of way, how can I get that? You know?
Yeah.
I know I took a picture of my bath and I sent it to my friend Holly, and she loves taking baths. And was like, now, like I did want to tell somebody that I was taking a bath.
Yeah, but I think that's the difference is like telling someone like close to you, right? Like someone you're actually in community with and like being in community and accountability with one another different than on the internet where there's like, you know, hundreds. It's obscene, first of all, that like we are consuming one another. Hundreds of people are consuming us on a regular basis and that we like do that to each other. But like, yeah, that's what makes it feel like empty and almost like even numbing, this kind of self-care. And yeah, Juliana mentions like going to therapy and like getting told things that you don't want to hear and now you wish you never went. But also like, yeah, that's self-care. Where I think about like, there's nothing cute about paying my rent on time except that I get to live in a house. And that's pretty sweet, but like, that's not glamorous. That might give me some feelings. There might even be like uncomfortable feelings around it, which like I think that's part of self-care too, is that the way that it's been like touted is like, if you do this, then you will feel good. And these are the good things you will feel. And if you don't feel these good things, then you must be doing it wrong to have a bad feeling.
Yes. Okay. Yes to that part for sure. And Huli, to your point about the therapist or whatever, whoever it is, telling you everything that you don't want to hear. I had a really similar experience in the last couple of months, and there were multiple ways in which I cared for myself through all of that. And one huge way was me deciding that I know that I was able and capable of stepping out of a toxic triangle situation with one person. So like the self-care was doing that like deep dive into the discomfort that was that relationship, and then in that relationship going, I need for this to be different. What are we going to do together? And that discomfort was like very, very intense. Really thankful for the people, Ruby, who I called about that, you know, who I got to my community care. That was another way that I got to step into like the self-care of that relationship. And then, yes, stepping into something different so that is a form of self-care. Really taking challenging, actionable steps to do something different so that the same bullshit doesn't keep happening.
Yeah, and I think that like the self-care that we're tired of is getting told do XYZ, and then I do those things to like numb or cover up the thing that I'm not being honest with myself about that I actually need to do, which is a change, which is like make a change, like a bigger picture. So like taking a bath every day is not going to fix the discontent and like uh unhealthy dynamic of my relationship or whatever, right? Like just taking a bath every day isn't going to fix that. I might feel better for like an hour, and then it's like 2 years later and I'm still in the same toxic cycle, but I've taken like 200 cute baths. There's no care about that.
Yeah, 100%. Like those really need to, like, yeah, those things that we really actually need, like our time and attention. Okay, hold on. We want to talk about the bath thing. I have some, so it's like our nervous systems. The reason that we do need care is because we have created a world for ourselves that is fucking exhausting. We always are on. We always, like, even think about as you scroll through Instagram, the people who have these followings have created a version of themselves for you. And then we hold those people to these insane standards of always being that person. That is the world that we're in, right? Like when we go to work, we're expected to be like professional Kate, and professional Kate has no emotions. I don't know what professional Kate is like, but you know, what are the expectations of like professionalism, right? Niceness.
Or like wellness, or like, you know, like I think like Wellness Ruby has like all the answers.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier today. It's like, yeah, Wellness Ruby has all the answers for you of what you need to do, but she hasn't eaten in the last 10 hours, hasn't stopped staring at a screen in 5, and hasn't moved her body in 3 days. And like, but the standard is that there's like, yeah, this like projection or persona, and then we get trapped in like not getting to be dynamic human beings in relationship with one another because there's hierarchy, because we're all out here performing all the time, performing how we take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And so then we live in a world that does not support our intuition or our care and rest, right? So then we think, well, all we need to do is take a bath. That will fix it. And the deal is that it won't. And
then when it doesn't, we feel bad about it, like we did it wrong.
Yeah, like you fucked up a bath? Gosh. Yeah, and then it's like but the point that I really do want to make about the bath specifically, I don't know why the bath is like such a thing for me right now, but I'm seeing a lot of people bathing. And part of it is though taking an Epsom salt bath and like laying there for, I don't know, however long you're in there, 20 minutes, really is good for the nervous system. So there can be two parts, right? Like, so in that relationship for me that really needed to shift a couple months ago, I needed my nervous system. I was so on alert about this person. Like everything, I felt like hyper, everything felt like up here. So I needed those moments of like, rest, Kate, rest. Like let all of this stuff that is all over the place about this, let it like sink in a little bit. Like let your body digest all of this. And so like baths can be a great part of that, but we can't have one or the other. It has to be more of like this integrated. And same thing, like the deal with like performance. It's unsustainable. It's totally unsustainable. So how can we integrate the way that we've set up life, which is totally unsustainable, versus our need as like a human being? How do we integrate those pieces? How do we do this?
Yeah, and how do we approach the things that we feel like are good for us on an individual basis? How do we approach them? I think has been like the biggest shift for me in the last year, is like really like 10 out of 10 times for me, the approach is like slow down, slow down, slow down. Like, don't just like, yeah, cool, you ate lunch, but did you like eat lunch and run out the door? Why can't I just like eat lunch, let it digest, take a short walk, right? Like things don't have to be these like big checklists. I don't have to go for a 10-mile run today. But if I take a 15-minute walk after my lunch, there's something about that that soothes the nervous system, just like how we approach things. And that's like a choice to consciously say no to adding more and say yes to doing things, maybe even the same things, differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Like I think about like exactly what you just said has been my last, 7 years, 7 to 10 years of shifting my practice with what is movement. What is movement for me? And it used to be like I was training. I was just like always training, but literally for nothing. Like, what is that? That is something that we need to talk about. And like, yeah, and now movement gets to be part of my self-care in a really, gosh, like now I get to approach movement when I can just literally feel in my body like, wow, I'm going to move now. Or I can schedule that and like set myself up for success by going to a place where I like to go with a teacher that I like or whatever, taking a class online. But yeah, I'm still doing the same thing, but now it's a way in which I care for myself instead of a way in which I torture myself.
Well, and the way that you approach it too, right? Again, makes all the difference. It's like, yes, set yourself up for success and like give yourself the structures to support the space that you know that you need. But then it's like, okay, so I know I can like show up to this yoga class, but legit, if to take care of myself today, I need to lay on the ground for 45 of those 60 minutes, then I do that knowing that I'm taking care of myself without this kind of like ridiculous standard of what I have to check off in order to be like a good human being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then coupling that personal responsibility to myself, right, with the level of community care that I need. So for instance, I need community care in movement spaces, I need for the community of the movement space to make sure that they are really clear on the fact that I will be laying down for 45 out of 60 of these minutes. Say nothing to me about it. Do not encourage me to get up off of the floor. I don't need my real stuff that I'm going through. And then that is me holding the movement space accountable to supporting my autonomy. And then that even is a form of self-care.
Absolutely. Being in frameworks of community care is a form of self-care that gets overlooked. I think like for me, this like fierce independence has been a barrier of like true self-care and support, like not knowing how to like actually ask for support I need or to show up for myself or like hold community or like the people around me to a higher standard of supporting me. And I think that that's like something that self-care is otherwise is like lonely and hard and looks cute on Instagram, but it's like exhausting.
LOL that the way that we've set up self-care to be is more exhausting than the actual activity.
Truly.
Absurd.
Yeah.
It's like you can't keep up with the Joneses or whatever. God, and then the biggest form of self-care that there is going, I do not have to keep up with the Joneses. That's it. Me and my community, we don't have to keep up with the Joneses. We don't even care about the Joneses. We don't even fucking know the Joneses.
Which is great. And like you were talking about words of affirmation earlier, and it's like, yeah, and I can remind myself of that every single day. But like most of the time I also need like you to remind me of that. I need the people around me to be reminding me, and also me reminding them that like we don't need that. We don't care about that. It's like okay if you moved your laundry from the bed to the floor? And would it feel good to fold it today?
Right? Is today the day, maybe, that you want to put your laundry? If it's not, that's okay. You anyway, but do you think maybe you'd feel better if you put that laundry away today?
Absolutely. Instead of it just stacked up on the back of my couch.
uh, yeah, you know, and like what the kind of like the theme that I'm hearing in all of this is like it is challenging to do the opposite of what nearly every single thing that I know I see on a daily basis is telling me to do. And it is the same idea is instead of going like outward for to learn what I need, it's the practice of going inward to know what I need, and then taking and leaving like words of wisdom, right? And that's the community part.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like legit why I'm so
Thrilled.
thrilled for the self-study program. And like, that's really like what we want from that.
Yeah, and so two pieces that we've spoken to hugely about this, which is integral to the self-study piece, which is why we know that this, I mean, we've been leading retreats now, what, for 6 years or something. And what people get out of it the most comes from the accountability of doing this work with a group and the community and the real just like soft care that comes with like hearing some stranger who's also signed up for this program with you be like, oh, I've had that. And you're like, what? You have? And then it's just like, damn, sometimes that is all we need. And so, yeah, both of those pieces are just like core to what this self-study program is. Sarah, yes, sign up for the self-study program. If you go to one of Ruby's, like, was it your most recent post? Yeah, this week we want you to sign up with a friend, and we want to give you both $400 off.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because like what we're looking for, you know, is I know about self-care is that there's a lot of consumable content and there's a lot of free stuff. And even like Kate and I post free stuff all the time about like how you can be taking care of yourself and doing better. And at the end of the day, though, it's really fucking hard to do that alone. And at the end of the day, through a screen like this, like reading Instagram posts feels like being alone.
Totally. And it's like I all day long am scrolling past things and I'm like, yeah, great. Ooh, yes. And then it's like, okay, so in what way is any of that integrating into your life? Because if it ain't integrating into your life, then it's just a magical pretend life that lives on the internet where you have like strong boundaries and girl power. That ain't it.
No, it's not. And yeah, we just desire for this space to be a container, like a community container, like a place, like you were saying, like you desire in a movement space, somewhere to understand that if you want to lay on your mat for 45 out of the 60 minutes, that cool, we support you in that. And we're not going to say anything about that. You're taking care of yourself, and that's the expectation. And Kate and I desire to create containers like that. And that's like what the point of self-study is.
Mm-hmm.
And to wrap it up too, the point of all of this is not to like actually shit on what self-care really is, because self-care is like what it means for you to take care of yourself right now. Like when you log off of us talking right now, what is one thing that you can actually do that fills you back up without all the expectation or like high standards of whatever that you usually put on it. True self-care is what we really like, I think, crave. And it's this like commodified self-care that holds us back from really engaging with ourselves and each other in a more meaningful and deeper and like more intimate way.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I've decided in my life that like if it's like too cute, it's like not real. Except my hair. And his earrings.
That's our matching sweatsuits that we really do like. And you know what? Yeah. You get to have those things, but you get to have them because you want to do it, not because somebody else is telling you that you should.
Well, and that's something I thought about on the way here is like my nails are really fun. And I think like for me, like finding ways to like play and like express myself feels like a way of self-care, but that's not like getting my nails done does not feel like self-care. But it's like I do enjoy what it offers me through like expression and like it feels good and fresh nails feel really clean. But like if I'm making a list of things that are actually like self-care fulfilling, getting my nails done is like not on the list. It's like drinking enough water and going for short walks
Mm-hmm.
and like calling Kate.
Yeah, community care.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's all I have to say about this.
I could go on for hours about this. But yeah, I mean, yes. Sign up for the self-care. We want to do it.
The self-study program. Grab a friend, sign up with a friend. You both get $400 off. What'd you
Yeah,
decide? You can do that till February 1st?
February 1st,
Cute.
next week.
Mm-hmm. If you have questions, we both have links in our bios that you can sign up for a 15-minute
Now,
call.
I had not even considered Valentine's Day as an excellent idea to do the self-study with you and your partner.
I love that. Sign y'all up.
Yeah, I mean, damn, I know I'm out here on the dating apps right now, and y'all, let me tell you, I'm about to be like, hi, thank you so much for blah, blah, blah. Please sign up for the self-study that begins in March. And
And then we will think about entertaining you on the other end of that. We'll see how far you come.
great.
Amazing.
Honestly, I have sent it to a few people.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, y'all, we will see you tomorrow at the same time and check my stories for what we'll be talking about. I think you can still vote. That's so fun. Or if there's something that you want to hear us talk about, just DM us.
Hey.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Ah.